Hello everyone and welcome back to the second part tutorial of how to model a text and a logo, and basically we are creating some kind of a wallpaper. So this is a little bit hard for me to really obtain a good, you know, uh, I don't know, description for this tutorial. So I probably will do more of those in the future, so they all will be with the same title, I guess. I'm not sure. But anyway, what we were gonna do right now is start building shaders and second, adding light to the scene. So I do want this to look a little bit the same as that earlier tutorial that I made that was removed by me. And therefore, what I want you to do first is grab this text, go over polygons shelf here, and choose from the mesh menu, separate. Okay, and this will separate all the letters in your sentence or title into separated pieces. Now, I want you to grab these two and Control G to group them. So this will group them. And I want you to bring this, well, it can stay here for a while. So first of all, let's build a shader. We're gonna go over, before we build the shader, we wanna go over the render settings, which is this little take icon with these two dots, and you wanna click on it. And you wanna go over rendering using and click on this drop down menu and choose mental ray. Now by default Maya won't load mental ray and you won't see it here. So what you want to do is go over Window, Setting Preferences, go over the plugin manager and click on it. So it will open this plugin manager and you want to scroll down all the way here. And if you're a Windows user, there will be a little bit different title for it. So for Mac users, it's maya2mr.bundle, and for Windows users, it's maya2mr.mail or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm not using Windows for decades, and it's a little bit hard for me to remember. So what you want to do, you want to tick the loaded and the auto load. So the auto load will make sure that next time you open Maya, hopefully it will load mental ray by default. So after this, close this window and then you will come over the render using, which is this icon again, and you want to select mental ray. So we will do some adjustments here. First of all, I want to make sure that my render preset on the common tab will be HD 540. Now I'm picking this resolution because whenever I'm going to test render here, I want to make small renders just so they will be quicker to render. And with my setup, it's not the best setup the person can ask, but it's quick enough. Okay, so HD 540 will be fine. And for the render option down here, you want to tick off the enable default light, so tick it off. Now by default, whenever I'm using this, it's just when I'm adding an IBL, which is image-based lighting, which is HDR picture that I'm applying to sort of a globe sphere. And maybe I won't use it this time. I will first try it out without, but still yet I want to turn this feature off. Okay. Go over the quality and apply. Okay, for Maya 2014, you will have a little bit different menu. Okay, in earlier versions, you had just something else, which was the legacy. I will show you. The menu was looking like this. Okay, and what you needed to do is basically tell Maya to max sample level of 3. Just change this value to 3. But in Maya 2014, you want to stick to the unifeed sampling and change the quality to something like 1.8. Okay, it's not a must. It doesn't have to be specifically 1.80, but just for the sake of this tutorial, please do this. What this is basically it's making all of your edges smooth. When you render this out, the objects will get a little bit more smooth edges, okay, and everything will look a little bit better than not using it at all. The next thing is ray tracing, which will be enabled by default in 2014, and I don't use any glass materials and stuff like that, so that's fine to leave it as it is. And with those settings, reflection 4, and max trace the path, it really doesn't really matter right now. I just by default it's ticked, so we will stick with that. Go on to the indirect lighting and apply final gathering. Okay, there is a final gathering menu, and you want to tick this, and with the default setting, leave it as it is. And as I said earlier, at the first attempt to create this tutorial, I used image-based lighting, and I also mentioned at the first part of this tutorial to told you to go and search for HDRI map pictures, and because I don't want to get into copyright issues, I'm leaving it for you to look for whatever content you find and use it. Of course, under their own, policy. So image-based lighting, right now we ain't gonna touch it. We just want all the other stuff to be applied, and we can start and create our shader. So go over Window, Rendering Editor, Hypershade, and when you apply the Maya 2MR bundle or Maya 2MR script, mail, whatever it is down there in the plugin manager, then when you will open the Hypershade, you will see the Mental Ray tab here, which contain all of the Mental Ray nodes. So some of them are nodes and some of them are shaders, and what you want to do is we want to use some of the one particular shader, which is the Maya Material X. You want to click on it, and it will appear here. Okay. Now, at the same time, it should open the attribute editor for this material. So, if it's opened, then it's okay. If it's not opened, like this, okay, you want to click this, double-click it. Okay, it must be open. If not, Control A. I think Control A will open this attribute editor for you with the selected item, of course. So you want to change this into somewhat white, and you want to change the name for this as for surface, I guess. Surface? Yeah, surface. Surface. And hit the enter to save these changes of this name. And you want to change the reflectivity down to 0, like so. Maybe bring it all the way to white. And with this surface, you're gonna let's make it a little bit smaller so you can see. I'm gonna select my surface here, right-click on the surface shader, and choose Assign Material to Selection. So this is what will happen. It all turns into white, and now we want to go and create another Mental Ray shader. So click on Mental Ray and then click Maya Material X. Now, when I click this, it will appear here, but it doesn't got to do with this one. Okay, so by default, if this one is bothering you, you can come over the eraser, clear graph, and it will disappear. So click Maya Material X, the new material will pop out here, and you will see the attribute editor for it. This one, we're going to call this edge, and I want this to be not reflective, so lower down all the way to 0, and maybe make it a little bit darker, like so. Okay, Now this edge is meant, this edge shader meant for this faces here. So right click, choose faces, select this face, shift double click this face, and you see it selects just some of them. So hold down the shift and click on any another unselected faces, so it will keep select them. Now this is a little bit frustrating, but try and do this. There are more ways to select, but I guess this is not that bad. Now the problem is that because this here at this area, the shape is not fully patched, so also the geometry, the topology of this is wrong, and there are angles and stuff like that, and therefore it's happening. But while you manage to select all this edge, right click on the edge shader, assign material to selection. Okay, now pay attention that whenever I create a new material, it appears here and at the same time here. So this is your palette of colors, and this is where you actually modified it. Okay, this is where you make the connections and stuff like that between nodes and whatever. If you are new to Maya, then maybe this is interesting for you. But anyway, whenever you will open the Hypershade later on, if I will close it right now and we'll open it again, rendering editor, Hypershade, then you will see that this is blank and you only use those, which is in the material tab. Okay, and let's continue. So the next step is to create a shader for the tunnel. So select the tunnel. You can do it very easy. I mean, you don't have to use the Hypershade. I'll show you another way. You can right click on the tunnel, assign favorite material. You don't want to do this. Assign existing material. These are the materials that we already created, except the Lambert. And you can choose assign new material. Okay, so if you click and release on this, you can choose the mental ray Maya material X, and it will be opened here in the attribute editor. So you need to switch to this tab and call this tunnel. Okay, so this shader, this shader is already applied to the tunnel because we apply this shader straight on top of it, and just need to name it and modify it. So I want to make it white, and I do want to add a little bit of reflectivity here. So 182 or 0.200 is okay, and nothing more than that. So with that done, I want you to choose all these four objects. Don't select this the plate that they are sitting on, not this one, only those. And right click and choose assign existing material, and choose the same tunnel material that we used on the tunnel. Okay, so this will apply this one, and the tunnel looks gray because of the shadows, but if I will zoom in and look at this that way, you will see the differences. Okay, so the tunnel is sure white right now. Now let's create more shaders. Let's clear the graph with this eraser icon. Now the next shader is a Maya-based shader, and this is, click on Maya and choose the Lambert. Okay, Lambert, and you will see this open. Call this ambient white. Okay, I'm not sure that this is the way you spell it. Yeah, that's okay. And press enter. Change the color to white with this slider. Okay, and add a little bit of ambient color by sliding this slider to the right. Okay, so pay attention to what's going on here. That way it's like overburned, and that way it's kind of okay. Okay, that way. So it's not even in the middle of the slider. But if you later on need to tweak it and add a little bit more ambient to it, you can do this. You can also go over the special effects and add a little bit of glow intensity for it, okay? And don't use a lot of amount of intensity for this, because this will burn whatever next to it, okay? It will wash it with light, white light, because we chose white color. And 40, I think it's fine. Not sure, but I guess it's fine. Now, what I want to do with the tunnel is I want to add this ambient. So I didn't pay attention for this at the first part, but I will do this here. I will minimize the hyper shade, and with the tunnel selected, shift right click, choose insert edge loop, okay? And I'm gonna add one edge loop, click, hold and drag, and when you satisfy, release, so it will add edge loop here. And I want to add one edge loop, one more edge loop here, one more edge loop here, one more edge loop there, and two more edge loop like so, and one edge loop here and one edge loop there. Okay, it doesn't have to be the same, way that I'm doing this. Just try to do something that is somewhat close to this. And what I'm gonna do, you see those two close ones? I'm gonna add the gray material that I have to the edge. So basically, I'll use the edge material to add this same shader to it. So click on this one, shift double click on this face, shift select this face. Now here, in order to select this loop, if you will select it, it will select also these, okay, in the loop. So in order to avoid this, you see this one is the one that causing the problem. So you want to unselect it by control and select it, okay? And then you can shift double click on this one and it will loop select it without selecting these two, this one and those down beneath, like that. And then you can select it back. Here I do want to do the same, so select this, unselecting this, double click on this, and then select it back again. After they are all being selected and you verify this, right click on top of them, or just right click somewhere, as long that they are selected, that's fine. Choose existing, assign existing material, and choose the edge one. Okay, so it will look gray. And now I can select this one, shift double click this one, select this one, unselect this one, same as we did with those. Double click on this one, it will loop select it, and then I can bring back the selection. Select this one. You don't want these two to be selected, so unselect them. Double click on this one, it will loop select, bring those two back, and now this one, don't unselect these, and select that, double click on that, and back those. With those selected, right click, choose assign existing material, and we want the ambient white to be applied. Okay. Now again, you won't see much of the changes right now, but trust me, you will see it later on. Okay. Now we want to add another shader. I'm not sure if it should be Lambert. Yeah, let's make it Lambert. Let's erase the graph and create another Lambert. This one we will call it back, okay, BG, like background. I don't know. Like this background, right? Enter. You want to click on this checkered box next to the color. Click on it, choose file, and you want to go to this new open tab. Click on this little folder icon and navigate to your desktop where you saved this gradient that we created at Photoshop at the first part, right? So click open and it will be registered here, so you can see it does perform here. And we want to now you see, at the first attempt that I was trying to create this tutorial, I was applying this background, and what happened is that Maya have some bugs sometimes. I don't know what's the reason for this, but it always should give you the sphere, okay? But at that tutorial that I created, the earlier one, it's registered it with thumbnail of JPEG, and this caused me to wonder where is my shader. But your shader is what's going on here and the one that you gave it a name, okay? So you can see it has a name, which is background, and here it's the same one, so you can use this one if you're not sure, but right now I'm sure. So just grab this and you can right click on this shader, assign material to selection, and it will load this texture on top of your mesh. Now, in order to see this, press 6 on your keyboard and you will see it. Now, if you don't see this variety of colors, you know, like the transition between blue to green as you expected from the texture to show you, something with your UVs is not correct. So what you want to do, you want to right click on the shape, choose face, sorry, not this face, not this shape, choose on this face, and select only this face, okay? Now, with this face selected, you can go over edit UVs, sorry, create UVs, and choose automatic mapping. So it will set the texture somewhat better in a way that it will show you, most likely it will show you the texture in a proper way, which you will have you know, all of the variety of colors from this texture. So with that done, what we want to do next is take the 3D and apply the ambient white shader to it first, okay? So right click on the shader, sorry, select them, right click on the shader, choose assign material to selection. This will make sure that the letters are those two, the number and the letter will be in ambient white color. For those, you most likely want them to glow also, but I want to make some separation. I mean, I want the 3D to glow and the Artcore to stay, you know, a little bit not glowing, you know. And so for this, I'm just gonna use the surface material, and I will assign this to them. Okay. So right now they look much more brighter, but it's not true because the light is what affects this shader and make it more glowing. Also the glow intensity that we had. So with that done, we're gonna do something here with the letters. We're gonna right click on the E letter, and if it's other letter for you, I'm gonna right click on this and choose only the front face here, okay? Only this face. Then I will right click on the R, choose face, and shift select this face. Right click on this, choose face, and shift select this one. Now always hold down the shift, okay? Because you will lose this information. Face, grab those. Face, shift, select this. Right click face, shift, select this. Right click face, shift, select this. Right click this, face, shift, and this face, okay? Now all those faces, the front faces are right now been selected, and then I'm gonna apply the background to them, the same shader that we applied to this surface down below there. So right click, assign material to selection, and I do want to make sure something. You see the green is down here and the blue colors are above, and I'm gonna go over create UVs while they are still selected and choose automatic mapping. So it's just a little bit changing this, and I don't satisfy with this. So what I will do, I will go with planar mapping and try this one maybe. yeah, this is more of what I want. Okay, I want 2 strips, one of green, one of blue, and that's fine. But still, if you are using other logo, other motifs for your logo, I mean like other colors of backgrounds like this one, do whatever you feel. Okay, stay creative. It doesn't have to be the same. You're just learning some basic stuff. And with that done, we're gonna bring this over here, and with those two selected, Control G to group them, okay, and go over Modify, Center Pivot, and you wanna scale them up, so like that, and you wanna grab all those letters and group them back. So, but before that, let me do something here. I'm gonna modify center pivot the A, modify, I can press G after I've done this one time, okay, so I don't have to go over modify center pivot again, just press G, it will, okay, so select the letter, press G, select the letter, press G, select the letter, press G, select the letter, press G. So I'm gonna separate them a little bit, okay, so they will have space in between them because some of them are stick to each other and it sucks, sorry. So let's bring this one here, let's bring this one here, let's bring this one here, and let's bring this one here. So they somewhat separated, but you need to be very, make them same distance, otherwise it will be noticed. So with that done, I'm gonna select those, select them, and Control G to group them, and then go over Modify Center Pivot. So I'm centering this, and I will apply the Snap to Grid, okay? And this is because I want the center of this word to be exactly at the center of this grid. So now with that snapping, I can move this over here, and it will be somewhat at the center, like that. Now if you want to scale this more, why not? Just bring this a little bit down. Turn off the snap to grid after it's in the center because there is no need for this. So with that done, let's grab those two. By the way, they are already grouped. So what I will do, I will open the outliner and choose them as group. Now this is a group inside of a group. So I don't want this. So this is the 3D group. So I'm gonna middle mouse click and drag it out of this group. And then I can select this group, modify center pivot, move it, and we'll move it and hold down the J and rotate it that way. Okay, so that's nice. You want to bring it maybe a little bit more above the surface, floating somewhat, like that. Let's see what's going on with those guys. They are not floating, and that's not okay. We want a little bit of shadows there beneath the letters. So with that done, what I want you to do is grab everything again, go over edit, delete by type, history. We don't want to have any history here, no transformation, stuff that they can make trouble, whatever. Well, you should do it after the first part, right after the first part of this tutorial. Just go over, grab everything, edit, delete by type, history. And this is where, when you know that you finished modeling, okay, at least. But you should do this, I mean, like every few changes that you do for, I don't know, for shape. So let's add lights. Let's add lights. And I'm going to do this almost the same way I've done in the first attempt of this tutorial. So it's going to be a little bit different because something went differently, and I can like sit for not 6 hours, but 2 hours and play with the light and get different results. And I'm encouraging you to do so. Even though you're gonna learn something right now, try and play with your lights, with the intensity, with the colors, with whatever you do. it can give you nice results and sometimes even better than what you will get from this tutorial. So just be aware of this.